Good evening, everybody. I wanted to record a video today about something that's currently going on in my life. Sometimes with these videos, I might have a planned theory or topic that I want to just discuss overall for no particular reason other than to talk about it. But I also believe it's important to take some inspiration from real life events to have meaningful conversation. And so before I start this video, I just want to be clear about something. Videos like this, and realistically all of my videos, I said one of the main purposes I do these is because I want to grow, I want to document my growth, and I want to help other people grow towards the side of happiness. And not everything I'm saying inside of these videos is necessarily gospel. And what I mean by that is I want to talk and I want to post these videos because as much as I want to try and give people perspective from my end, I also want feedback on my own opinions and my own thoughts and my own approaches, because I understand that I'm a very ignorant, young, relatively inexperienced individual with certain things. So please feel free, whether it's this video or any of them, I really would like to create conversation around these things and really get other opinions to make sure that I'm not overlooking anything or that I'm not being stubborn on something, because I believe if you truly want to grow, you can't just think one way and not take any feedback or look at it from another perspective. So I digress. In today's video, I wanted to talk about guilt tripping, specifically being on the receiving end of it when it comes to loved ones. And now I will talk about a very, very specific real life scenario with me, but just to paint the picture, this doesn't have to do all with this specific situation. I'm only talking about this to give context. But think of someone in your life who's living unhealthy, and it's really beginning to put them at risk in one area or another. Now, I want to be clear about this. I do believe that there's a certain extent or certain threshold that this becomes acceptable in, but let me just go ahead and give the story, and you guys can come up with your own versions of this if it's in your own life or if you just understand. So, I have a friend, and almost all of my friends are people that I've known for the majority of my life. This one particular I've known since we were wee tall. And this is one of my closest friends, one that I've spent very much time with one-on-one over my entire life, someone that I know and care for very deeply and very truly. And over the last few years, this last year specifically, they have really began to struggle with alcohol. And don't get me wrong, I like to drink, I like to have fun with my friends, I like beer, I like tasting nice rums when I go on vacations, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about alcoholic, manic episodes. If they're not drinking, they're putting their health at risk kind of alcohol. So now that we have that out of the way, about 7 months ago at this point, I took a vacation with all of my friends to a college town. And it was like every so often, we'll get all the friends together and we'll go on a vacation. And this vacation ended with my friend, and I don't want to say names. I'm going to be very careful about these early on videos, because if I begin to get more popular and I include people in the future, I don't want to out anybody. But I have this friend who's been struggling with alcohol, and about 7 months ago, the end of our trip ended with this individual breaking down crying, and this was the first of many events that'll lead me towards the end of the story. But this individual is breaking down crying at the end, talking about how they aren't happy with the way they've lived their life. They feel like a burden on everybody because, whenever you have any sort of addiction, your financial stuff typically begins to struggle, your relationships begin to struggle. And to be clear, you want to be there for your friends, right? No matter dark times, bright times, anything. And the first sense of approach should be positive reinforcement, in my opinion, right? So, bro, you know, we believe that you can make the change, bro. Like, this does not define you. This isn't who you are. You know, we're here to help you in any way. We never turn your back on you. We started with positive things like this. Oh, I want to change my life. I want to quit drinking and blah, 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 blah. So let's fast forward. Sprinkle in a few times here and there, odd nights that we'd all be hanging out. And look, morally, I understand that this plays something into it, but whenever I'm with my friends, one of our favorite activities is to drink, right? And I only have this one friend where it's an issue for them. Like, I mean, if I hang out with my friends once every 7 days, the only time during that week that I'm gonna have had beers is when I'm with a couple of my friends at a house or go out to a bar or something. So I don't want this to be like, oh, you know, well, you guys are drinking around this person, so you're contributing to it. It's like, no. You know, some of my friends live together, so I go over to visit one of my friends who doesn't have a problem, enjoys it as a normal person should. And, you know, we're drinking, person with the issue is drinking as well. And, you know, like I said, let's sprinkle in a couple times here and there, crying, you know, same story. Oh, I'm not happy about my life. I love you guys so much. I don't want blah, 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 blah. So as I said, this was like April that we went on this trip to the college town, and the real first thing happened. July, my friend, different friend, I wish I could use names because I don't know if I'm losing people in the story of this stuff, but I have to be very careful. My other friend has, every single year, he has a timeshare through his family at a nice resort. We all take a week off work. We all go and essentially live, we take a bender basically every single year where we all go and we just hang out, and it's just wake up, you know, we literally have nothing to worry about, right? We spend time with each other, wake up, you know, let's rip the bong, you know, let's start drinking cocktails, let's head down to the resort pool, let's go play golf, all these things. So basically this year for the week, we started to see more signs of where this was becoming an issue. Now, of course, rewinding a few months, we know we didn't see it as a huge issue because we all get emotional, right? We all get emotional, you know, with alcohol, because that's one of the things that it does. It makes you more emotional. That's why a lot of people put their arm around their friend and speak more freely than maybe they do in their sober. You know, bro, like, I know we get into some shit, but I love you, bro, like that kind of stuff. So we didn't pay too much mind to that. Now, someone just getting sad whenever they're drunk and talking about it is it can be a little bit annoying, but it's like, okay, maybe this person's just a little bit emotional, and you know, you have to be okay with someone being open to their communication with you regardless of that. So we get to this week. Now we're starting to see this friend of ours didn't shower the entire week because they were literally only focused on drinking. Half the time they were sleeping in till 3 p.m. They weren't doing anything with us, basically becoming a hardly functioning alcoholic. The very last day of the trip, they didn't even come out. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say we felt super great either. But like I said, this is like a vacation for us. Like, oh, you know, we feel shitty, but we're still gonna get up because I want to spend time with my friends. This person's not brushing their teeth. They're not taking showers. They're just they're drinking until they can't any longer. The very last day, whenever we're heading home, he wakes up and we don't have any alcohol left because, you know, we finished it all the night before when he was passed out because the trip's over. And we start going, yo, you know, we gotta leave soon. Yo, like, this is not good, bro. I feel like I'm having a heart attack or something. And at first we play off, we're like, dude, come on, you're just hungover, you know, whatever. And he starts going, no, no, no. He goes, bro, like, I need to go to the hospital. And we're like, for fuck's sake, man. And I probably shouldn't use language. We're like, for crying out loud, man, get him a shot, get him some alcohol in his body so he'll chill and he'll stop this. And the whole rest of the day he's saying like, this is not good, like I'm good, I gotta go to detox, I can't keep living like this, blah 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 blah. So at this point we're still on the positive reinforcement side of things, right? You know, bro, you know, we'll help motivate you, we'll drive you to the thing if you need, you know, if you need rides and all this kind of stuff, and we're being positive about it and so on and so forth. And so let's fast forward a couple months, because this is at the beginning of August that this happens. Well, person never actually followed through with any of that stuff. They supposedly had a huge epiphany. They wanted to get better. They wanted to do all this stuff. So come time for my birthday, and this had been happening a few times before my birthday, but this is where it showed that it was really, really bad. Now, everybody has their own trauma that they deal with, right? Everybody has their own things they go through, and for some people it's worse than others. For some people, their trauma comes from their own faults and their own mistakes that they made. For other people, it's things that they can't control, i.e. family situations. You know, God forbid somebody went through something whenever they were young with a family member. I'm not going to say the word, but you know, the fact of the matter is, some people have things that cause grief in their life that they control, and some people don't. So as time goes on, we're becoming more and more encouraging of like, dude, you have got to quit the drinking. You know, you said months ago, blah, blah, blah. And so as time's going on, starting to get irritated, right? And when it's been months and months and months of you trying to be positive, of you trying to, you know, be the good friend, and, you know, oh, we're, you know, we just, let's just keep being encouraging and doing this stuff. It's like, no. This is starting to become a very big problem. It's starting to cause issues in everybody around us life, because now, so my birthday is right around the time of his birthday. We get all of our friends over to the apartment, and we're planning on going out, going to the bar, going to the casino. So we're drinking before, having fun. And it's very apparent that this is no longer something that's fun for them. They're piss drunk by the time that I show up, and it's like 8:30 at night. And this is for his birthday and for my birthday. He's saying, you know, just go ahead and shoot me in the head, eh? And just absolutely absurd things. And it's just like, you know, oh, you know, this guy at work, and like they're having a manic episode. So much so, bro, put the liquor down, give him a cup of water. He splashes the water out and pours more rum in and does that. And so it's like, this guy, he gets so hammered that he passes out, and we all go out to the bar and go out to the casino without him, right? And he, for better or worse, really ruined the vibe of what was supposed to be a celebration of our lives. And didn't end up getting to go out with everybody. This is after all weeks, and, you know, saying, oh, I'm really looking forward to this weekend, bro. You know, we always work and we have all these messed up things, you know, in our life that are going on, but at least we have this time together to look forward to this weekend. Well, the weekend comes, like I said, passed out drunk, doesn't go out with everybody, wake up the next day, all the friends stayed the night over because the UFC was the next morning, and we're all hanging out, all having a great time. This friend lays in their room all day, doesn't do anything with us. So essentially, this is becoming a problem. Didn't do jack diddly squat with us for 2 days that we all took off to hang out together, besides have a drunken rampage. So let's fast forward 2 weeks. This person is like, yo, bro, can you talk to me? Right? And I'm like, yeah, of course, right? Because when your friend says that they need somebody to talk to, they want you to talk on the phone, you pick up the phone and you call them regardless of anything. So I sit there and I'm getting an earful for an hour, sobbing on the phone. This is so bad. You know, I really look up to you, bro, and I just really need your help. So I spend an hour of my time and my energy, right? Which I'm not trying to say, pointing fingers and being like, you should be willing to spend effort and time and things whenever it's trying to help other people. But I mean, I spent an hour talking about the same things, being encouraging, but also being direct. Where we left it, love you, bro. I believe in you. You can do this. Like, you ever need anything, just let me know. Boom. Okay, we're done on the phone. We go to play basketball this last Thursday, Broncos and Raiders game, and me and my buddies, we like to go and we'll like to watch these primetime games together. So my friend shows up playing basketball for a little bit, then we go to a restaurant, right? Because I know what I understand everybody's saying, well, this person's got a problem with alcohol, but every time you're around him, you're drinking. I understand it. Like I said before, I drink with all of my friends. There's one bad apple. We're not just gonna, we are not putting our life on hold because somebody has an issue, right? Which I would like feedback on, of course, because I'm not gonna say that, we go out to the restaurant to get wings. Chicken wings are personally my favorite thing ever. All my friends like wings. So we go out, and I can't stop a 22-year-old person from ordering a drink at a restaurant, right? And say, hey, I don't think you need that, but whatever. He gets so hammered. And it's not like, oh, he drank so much. No, he just got so hammered off the few drinks that he had. He's crying in the restaurant. We're saying, and this is what I'm saying. You get months of me being Mr. Nice Guy. You get months of me being Mr. Nice Guy. I've heard all these reasons that you're drinking, oh, I went through this, I went through that, this is fucked, that's fucked, and all these things, all excuses, all cope, all reasons to continue doing something you shouldn't be doing. So now I'm pissed, I snapped, right? Because we are in a restaurant in the town that we live in, and now, when I'm saying he was drunk, he's not just crying. He said, and fuck everybody else in here because they don't understand what I go through and all this stuff. And he said, this guy, and thank God this guy isn't here. So this guy's sitting across at we're at a table. He's sitting at the bar. My friend's flicking him off and says, fuck that guy. And we go, bro, can you chill out? And he goes, I do what I want. And so we start getting on him about the drinking. And I'm getting pissed, right? I'm digging into him. I said, I just spent an hour on the phone talking to you, and every single time I've been hanging out with you over these last couple months, every single time you're taking my energy from here all the way down to here because you're acting like an asshole because you don't want to quit drinking and you want to blame everything else on everybody. And we're like, you need to stop drinking. And he starts trying to justify it, and this is where the title of the video, the guilt tripping thing, tries to start flipping it on us, specifically me. I just feel betrayed because you guys are supposed to be my brothers and you're judging me because I got some problems in my life. And it's like, no, we're not judging you. We're telling you to quit drinking because you're on the verge of death. You're on the verge of us getting in fist fights with people because of it. And your whole entire life revolves around this. You need to give it up. Well, you guys haven't walked a mile in my shoes, so I don't want to hear it. I don't judge any of you guys, and you guys are all judging me. Guilt tripping us because we're saying, you gotta quit drinking. And like I said, we're being very direct. I can't say everything that was said, and I'll admit, yeah, I was being a jerk at that point because I've had months of being Mr. Nice guy. Oh, everything's gonna be okay. You want your binky? Because I said, everything you should start out that way, right? Give people a chance. Be nice. Be kind. Be thoughtful. But I will be damned if 7 months later I'm gonna be saying the same thing that I've been saying this whole time, and you're not listening. You're ruining everybody else's time because of this, and now we're getting guilt tripped. You guys are supposed to be my friends. I don't judge you guys, you're judging me. You haven't walked a mile in my shoes. So it's tough, right? Because you want what's best for them. And my point of view on this, and that's why I'm saying I would like other people's opinions. My point of view is this: if your friends, aka me, are not going to check you when you are doing something that is being very destructive to your life, if your closest friends aren't going to be the people to get rough with you and make you, like, basically, for, I don't want to say verbally, but metaphorically slap you and grab you and make you go, yo, you know, if your friends aren't going to be the ones to do that, who is? Right? You don't live at home. Your coworkers aren't going to do it. You're not doing it yourself. So it just becomes like, you know, I'm at a bad point, right? Because I haven't talked to this person since that happened, and it's been 3 days now. And I'm not going to reach out and say anything, because now you're trying to make me seem like the bad guy, because I've had enough of the shit that we've been dealing with that has to do with you, and you're ruining everybody else's time, and you're not listening. Right? And so that's where I want some advice. Not necessarily some advice, but some discussion on, what do you think of this? Am I in the wrong for what I did, or is this person in the wrong for what they're doing? Because I'll be damned if I let someone that I care about live their life and continue on this destructive path, and I'm not going to do anything about it. But I'll also be damned if I'm going to be having a finger pointed at me because I'm the one who's stepping up to say something. You might have somebody in your life who smokes a lot of cigarettes. That's bad. You should be trying to get somebody to quit smoking cigarettes. You might have someone who is extremely overweight. That's bad. You should be trying to do that. And here's what I'm saying. There's a difference between someone who's chronically damaging their life and somebody who just has a vice, right? Someone likes to smoke a cigarette every once in a while. You don't need to be the asshole to say, hey, you know, cigarettes are bad for you. But I'm saying someone smoking packs a day, they're getting cancer and they're still smoking. You have got to be the person in their life, because if nobody else is going to do it, you know, you have got to try your best to do that. And I say this because real addiction is tough, and it's going to come to a point where you have to decide, do you just want to be nice and breezy and, oh, well, I don't want to jeopardize my relationship with so and so because I don't want to say anything about their drinking that's going to set them off? Or are you going to put all that aside and be like, I'm willing to risk my relationship with this person because I care, you know, so much about them, to tell them that what they're doing is wrong, get mad at them because they're not listening to you, and get aggressive and tell them straight up how it is. If someone is 800 freaking pounds and you're still seeing DoorDash coming in every single day, are you not going to be the one to smack someone in the face and say the way you're living is going to lead you down a path where, you know, you're going to die? So guilt tripping was the title of this video, and I think you understand now where I'm going. You guys let me know in my situation, how would you have handled that? You have a friend who has an issue, they're not taking anybody's advice, you know, they don't have any money to go seek this professional help. You do what you believe is right in the moment, and now you're in a position where you are being made to blame for doing this. So it's a little story from my life, where I'm at right now. I would love to know what everybody else thinks, if you have any sort of experience with this, because like I said, this has been something that's been going on for a few months. I don't know if people have been in situations where they've been trying to get people off of something for years or not. So I'd love some advice on this. But yeah, that's basically just a bit of a story. I appreciate you listening to it as always, and please leave some feedback, because the only way I can grow is if I hear, you know, feedback from everybody else. I can't just do and make this. I can make this what I believe would be the right decisions, but I would love a different perspective. So thank you for watching the video.